So this is a 2005 5.9 liter Cummins. We got to replace the oil pan in the motor. So this is a video showing all that. We'll get you all the details as we go through. Right now we're lifting the vehicle up so that the axles gets a little distance from the oil pan. You can actually see that starting to go up. I got the oil draining right now. We'll get the filter off. So starting with lifting the truck, then we'll be loosening the motor mounts and try to actually tilt the engine up instead of dropping the transmission. So I'll give updates as we go. Okay, so now the intake tube came off. The intercooler tube we're starting to work on right now. See if I can. The intercooler tube down there. The exhaust clamp way in the back just came off. And then there's probably a couple other clamps that we need to take off, and we should be prepped up here. Okay, so update. The mounting bolts are loosened, and we're going to try to make our lives a little bit easier by adding a lifting eye so that we're not just going off the one block lift. So we'll update you if that works. Okay, it's kind of hard to see, but we got about 3 inches between the pan and that cross beam. And then you can see in the mounting bolts right there, you can see that we're up maybe like an inch out of the cradle. And then, sorry for the camera moving, but once I get out here, you can see how that lifting eye looked. That lifting eye worked really good for us. Now, the one other thing that we noticed is the shifter moved up, but that really didn't affect it too bad. Like, nothing's getting caught or anything, so we should be fine there. So we'll start getting the pan off. Alright, you can see the distance that shroud, or the cover came off, the fan cover came off the shroud of the radiator. Here's a general look. Alright, so we ended up bringing that block all the way up to the firewall. You can see that that hose is pretty crunched right there, but everything else is doing pretty good right in the front. And I'll go under and show you the oil pan removed next. Okay, so here's our update. Let me get in here. No more oil pan. It actually ended up being pretty tough because if you can see that elbow of the oil tube at the front of the engine, that gave us a hard time. Had to slide it right out there, but the gasket actually stuck to the oil pan, so I don't know if that was just that gave up the clearance we needed to get past that elbow that bolts into the block. But anyway, the block surface is all cleaned up now. We're gonna take some silicone and stick the gasket to the block and then slide the pan in to get over that joint, and then it should lift right in and we'll bolt it into place. Okay, oil pan is going back in. This one went in a lot smoother, so I think it was a combination of the gasket being stuck to the old pan and maybe the old pan, it was really, really rusty, so maybe it just swelled ever so slightly with the oil. So this one's going in. We should wrap this job right up. So this job didn't end up being too bad. It just depends on if you're in a time crunch or you got all the time in the world. We were on a little bit of a time crunch today, so it probably would have gone a little less stressfully if we were able to take our time. So it wasn't too bad, and on to the next.